What's up, everybody? Oh, what is this? Oh, there we go. That's what I meant to have. So, how's everybody? Hello, Justin, Uncle, Missy, Tina. How are you guys doing? Did you guys have a good couple of days? I know I missed on what the hell day was it? I know I missed a damn day. Something happened anyway. I was fucking exhausted and something happened anyway. I missed a day. Sometimes, y'all, if I work outside all day and I get exhausted, there's no way I'm gonna stay up. I can't. It was okay. Yeah, I was absolutely exhausted trying to get this barn done. I've got to get my barn done before hurricane season, which starts June 1st. So every day I have to go out and do something that's progress. And that's what I've been trying to do. Yesterday, I wasn't home all day. I did it's called the Maker Market flea market that was here in my town. It was for one day only. It was her first time ever putting it on. And so that's what I did yesterday. So I wasn't at home. I was up at 4:45 yesterday. I was on the road at 5:45, and I was up there with her at 6. Hi, Mandy. There's Tina. So anyway, yesterday I wasn't here. Today I got a shade put up outside, and I've got more turquoise walls painted, and the whole bottom is now painted black because that's where all the dirt along the bottom, wherever the most dirt's going to be, is going to get painted black. But I've got 2 more colors I've got to do. I've got a few more walls to fix. Today, I put hay and Trooper and Maple's pen in there. And Maple comes right in. She was playing in the hay. She ate in there this morning. Trooper had 2 feet in and backed right out. So we're getting there, though. He will eventually come in. Hello, Terry. Also, now that Terry's in the room, guess what, y'all? I and Annie are going to be great aunts. I'm allowed to say it now. The wedding that I went to, just a few weekends ago, and Terry's daughter got married, and she's preggo, and I'm going to be a great aunt, and me and Annie both, and we're very excited. And congratulations, Terry, because you're going to be a grandmama. And congratulations. Yeah, you go. Congratulations to Courtney as well. And her hubby. So we will keep you all posted. My ass, I'm sure Annie too, but we're going to be driving down there to see our new great niece or nephew when they're born. So we will be keeping y'all posted on that. So get prepared for our presents again, Terry, Grandma. So anyway, tonight we are discussing Arizona hauntings. I'm back in track, and the next one will be our Kansas, and Uncle will be coming on with me for Arkansas. Now, I've got 9 super haunted places, and I believe there's at least one place that we've talked about in our most haunted places once before, but I can't remember which one it is. So once I start talking about it, I think I'll remember. I'm going to start with Northern Arizona University's Morton Hall, and this is in Flagstaff, Arizona. Now, this near-century-old women's dorm on the forested grounds of Northern Arizona University is said to be haunted by a forlorn spirit of a heartbroken student named Kathy. Oh, we love Mama too. She hanged herself in the stairwell during winter break in the early 1950s. Apparently, she had lost her family and her boyfriend, who was in the armed forces, who died in combat all at the same time. And she was supposed to go home. She lost her family. She couldn't go home. She was stuck in this fucking school. She got word that her boyfriend was killed in the line of action, whatever. This so-called stairwell was actually in room 200A upstairs. She had gone into the attic and hung herself down the stairs. Kathy was found a few days later by 2 cleaning women, and she was wearing a blue nightgown. Hi, spirit stalker. How are you doing, young lady? Now, about 1 month later, a stillborn baby was found in the basement of the same building. Nobody knows if there was a connection between the two. With the maybe she lost the child, she lost the family, she lost the boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know if it was connected, and then there was nothing ever. As of right now, they don't know if it was connected. Ever since Kathy's body was found, there have been crazy occurrences happening, and it's never stopped, and they still happen today. There have been hundreds of sightings and events reported. A woman dressed in a blue nightgown walking the halls at night. She doesn't hide herself from anyone. Doors open and shut and even lock and unlock themselves as well. People's stereos will turn themselves on, and it plays music from the 50s. You can hear a woman crying from empty spaces. You can smell roses, which was her favorite flower. People can hear footsteps up and down the hallways and outside their doors, and they look and nobody's there. The lights always flicker all over the building. The toilets will randomly flush themselves, and their water faucets turn on in the middle of the night. Now, that, I think it would freak me out if I was in here and I heard my toilet fucking flush. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is my room and my bath. I'm in the master bedroom and the master bath. And I'd freak the fuck out if I heard the toilet flush and I go in there, nothing's there. What the fuck just flushed? You have to push the thing for it to flush. Am I right? Right? On October 28th, 1992, someone spoke to Mary Nunez. She worked at NAU for 33 years, and she was one of the ladies that found Kathy's body hanging in 1953. So the suicide was confirmed. Staff and students say they're used to her antics, and they even say hello and speak to her. They say that if you come in, like from work, and you come in and you walk through the house by yourself, it is super creepy. But they always try to ask her, where are you? Come and walk with me. They like talk to her. And but you can get a feeling of sadness throughout the house. So they feel like you're feeling her, what she was feeling. I'm frozen? Am I frozen? Am I really? Am I? Not here. Okay. All right. So that's all we've got on that one. So that's cool that like, if you like, they talk to her, and it's not so creepy if you talk to her, I guess, because it's like keeping them company almost. It's almost like a calming thing if you talk to her, from what I'm getting from it. But you can feel her sadness, I guess, because I think that would be a lot if you were ready to go home for winter break and you lost your and it doesn't say how she lost her parents. I don't know if they were in a crash or it doesn't say, but she lost her parents, so she couldn't go home for break, and then she got news that her boyfriend was killed in the line of action or combat. That would be terrible. That would be, just imagine. And then they found a baby, a stillborn, down in the basement of the same building. Now, like, you would think though, with all the stuff these days, you would think they would do, like, did they pull DNA back then? This was what, in the 20s, right? Isn't that what it said? Oh, I'm sorry, the 50s. All right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it was 1 month after her hanging, a stillborn baby was found in the basement. It was 1953, in 1953. So in the 50s, the DNA wasn't anything like it is now. But, right. Okay. But I know that I've heard some cases say that they did the DNA and it was in the file, or they kept blood samples or whatever, and it was in their files, and sort of like a cold case that I've heard. Now, I've watched it. They go and they get the blood sample that was left that's still there. Damn it, I even drink coffee, trying not to fucking yawn. But anyway, it sucks that they haven't been able to do that to try to link if that stillborn was linked to her, because that would be even a third thing on top of losing her parents and losing the boyfriend in combat. That would just, yeah, I would not understand, but it's a little more understanding on why you would do that, but anyway. Whew. Number 2, the Birdcage Theater, and this is in Tombstone. Tombstone, Arizona, is the city that's known to be too tough to die. But its inhabitants over the past 140 years or so haven't been as lucky. Plenty of folks have shuffled loose the mortal coil since it was first settled in 1877, including the ones involved in the legendary OK Corral shootout, and involved in and the longtime occupants of the equally renowned Boot Hill Graveyard. This theater was a former saloon, gambling den, and a brothel, and it has seen plenty of bloodshed in its day. 16 different deadly gunfights took place inside that building. So this is a hot spot for ghost sightings and encounters. Apparently, there have been 26 confirmed deaths inside, and over 140 bullet holes were found in the walls. These 26 deaths were from shootouts, stabbings, and suicides. The most infamous murder involves the Painted Lady, Margarita. Her heart was chiseled out from her chest with a double-edged stiletto. Now, I'm assuming a stiletto, other than a stiletto shoe, It's a double-edged stiletto. I'm assuming that that is some sort of a knife, sword, knife, something. I didn't look it up. I should have. It's been featured on Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Lab, and Fact or Fake Paranormal Files. Margarita's murder is known as the most gory murder that took place there. Margarita was entertaining a gentleman, one of her regulars. He was also a regular of one of Margarita's competitors, with whom he was in an actual relationship with as well. She was known as the Gold Dollar, but was also called Little Gert because of her petiteness. Apparently, she was super tiny little thing. When Margarita sat in this man's lap, I don't know his name. Anyway, when Margarita was entertaining him and sat into his lap, that's when Little Gert rushed in and stabbed her to death with her double-edged stiletto that she hid in her garter. I was having a brain fart. So she stabbed her so much, her heart came out and landed on the ground, and Little Gert stomped on it. Little Gert thought she had lost her man and lost her money. So it was hidden in her garter. Once she got Margarita's heart, she stomped on it, and then she fled when the marshal arrived. Now, Little Gert was apprehended, but back then, there's no evidence. When she was found, she didn't have the knife or the stiletto thing with her, and nobody could find it. Now, there were witnesses, there were people writing, what they saw, everything, statements, everything. But because there were no evidence, no charges were filed, and she was let go. Now, a century later, the stiletto was found buried behind this theater, and it's currently on display there. Now, Margarita is still seen quite often and will also look out the window. People, I guess, have seen her. In the 80s, an investigator and a medium held a seance there. One spirit began to strangle the investigator, William Hunley. The seance attendants were shocked and scared, and the medium went into some sort of trance. Now, once the medium came out of her trance, the violence was said to have stopped. Hunley's neck was bruised for 6 weeks after that. Staff and customers say the spirits are always moving around in this building. You will hear laughing sometimes or crying from people that aren't there. And it's said there are so many different spirits here. Some always make themselves known, and some just sit back and watch like they're curious. It's never a dull moment that's said to be there. That's interesting. But yeah, that's apparently, that seance was confirmed, and it was Mr. Hunley that said his neck was bruised for 6 weeks after. And the medium apparently didn't remember a lot of it until she came out. She didn't remember going into the trance. The way she had explained it, I guess it was like a blackout that she didn't remember. Okay, number 3, Arizona State Prison, and this is in Florence, Arizona. Death sentences have been carried out at this prison since 1910. Roughly 100 inmates have been executed during the past century inside these confines of this place, either by hanging, lethal injection, gas chamber, or electrocution. There have also been some officers killed, and inmates have committed suicide. Staff, inmates, and guards all say they have witnessed orbs, mists, and shadows moving around looking human like. You can hear screams and crying coming from the building that houses the death chamber or the adjacent cell blocks. Not one specific spirit has been identified there, and there's so many seen and heard. So that's they don't know who they're hearing, but they're hearing someone that was killed there, or they don't know if it's one that's committed suicide there. And imagine being, well, you're a fucking inmate. You did something to get yourself put in there to begin with. But imagine being an inmate and being in that cell block that's right across from the death row, the building that houses the death chamber or the adjacent cell blocks. Now, imagine being in that adjacent cell block. First of all, if you're in the adjacent cell block, you're going to hear it actually happen. Am I not right? Right? Because that would give me PTSD to begin with. Just like you're hearing them. You're hearing it happen. And then knowing nobody's there and still hearing the screams, that would be just as bad. That's, to me, that would be just, I mean, because you know what's over there and you know what's taking place in there. And nobody's in there, but there's somebody in there screaming. So we all know what that, you know what I mean? Is it just me? Or I mean, that's just weird to me. I wouldn't want to be in that. That would fuck me up, I think. I think it would give me the PTSD. I wouldn't be able to sleep right. Excuse me. Anyway, that's all I got on that one. Because none of them's been identified. They don't know who it is. There's been so many. That's, ugh. But, like, I like going to, those prisons that are abandoned. Like there's people, that's actually a still working prison. I like going to those prisons that are not working anymore and nobody there. Y'all know what I'm saying? I don't want to go to a place that's still being used. No, yeah. Anyway. The Oliver House, and this is in Bisbee. There's not much I could find on this one either. So this funky 2-story bed and breakfast dating back to the early years of the 20th century is a favorite for ghost hunters everywhere. Excuse me. Per local lore, the one you sent me. That was badass, though. I guarantee that place is haunted. Guarantee that place is haunted. And like I said, the way that they redid the inside was beautiful. And I would live in that house, but I would live like if we moved that house to my property, I'd be all over. I'd be living in there. Hell yeah. But the location that you showed it to me was just too far into town. It's right on the fucking river or whatever that is. I don't want to live near water like that. Um, I I want to be away from busy roads, and that's like right in the middle of town. And I was like, oh, yeah. So I wouldn't want to be that close to a river or town or anything, but move that house to my property and I would absolutely live in it. And I love the way they redid it. It was so cool inside the way they did it. And they still kept some of the original cell doors and the windows and yeah, those are heavy. That was so badass what you sent me. That was so cool. So anyway, the Oliver House. Per local lore, this former boarding house has been the site of numerous murders stemming from cases of adultery. The most grisly tale is of the cop who was on duty who caught his wife there with another man. He blew her away along with the man she was found with. This was in 1920. And he was so angry, he went on to slaughter more than a dozen others throughout that building. Over the years, it's been reported that you can hear gunshots, still footsteps in the hallways like people are running, and you can hear screams from empty rooms and doors and shutters open and close themselves. I really didn't find out too much more about the Oliver House, but that story alone, I'd love to investigate there. Now, I don't think I would want to live in it. But it's a bed and breakfast. So yeah, if I had a haunted, I would love to have a haunted bed and breakfast. I would run the bed and breakfast yep, that would be fun. I think I would stay there. I would stay there for the one night or 2 nights, couple nights for the weekend, and try to investigate there. Absolutely. I'd want to find out names. I want to find out what their names are and how they were killed and how old I'd want to investigate there, wouldn't y'all? Like the Lizzie Borden house. I want to go there so bad. I have to add this to my list though. And you would think an on-duty officer doing this, it doesn't say whether he took his own life or was arrested or what. It doesn't. I couldn't find any of that. Look, I got paint all over me today. Okay, the next one is called the Hotel Monte Vista in Flagstaff. Now, this one is known as Bob Hope and Michael J. Fox has stayed here. Now, these celebrities aren't as famous as the residential spirits, it says. It stands tall in the heart of downtown, and whether people are looking for luxury, nightlife, or the scary, this is your place. This hotel comes with a few enduring spirits that have been with the hotel so long they've become part of its mystique. It once served as a radio station, and it has secret tunnels running under downtown Flagstaff. Room 306 was the scene of a grisly pair of murders. One of the many rooms here that spirits make themselves seen is room 220. This was an unusual residence known as the Meat Man. He was a long-term boarder in the early 1980s. Is it just me? Like when I'm writing this, I'm like, wait a minute, this is the early 1980s. That was just a little bit ago. Like the 80s was not that long ago. This makes it sound like it was forever, like the early 1980s. Shit. Anyway, his unusual habit was to hang raw meat from his chandeliers. No one is completely certain why he did this, but it sure earned him quite the reputation among his neighbors. He was found dead in his room while the meat was still hanging up. Maintenance man worker entered room 220 to make some needed repairs. He had left for the day and he was to return the next morning. He turned the lights off and locked the door behind him. He's the only one with the key to that room. When he arrived the next morning, the TV was on and all the way turned up. All the linens have been violently removed off the bed and scattered across the room, and all the towels were also thrown around the room as if someone had a fit of anger. He quickly exited the room and wouldn't go back in there from then on. Now, even guests today that stay in that room report that their suitcases will be thrown onto the floor and that their towels are always found on the floor. One guest claimed they woke up to the TV blaring and saw something hanging from the light, but couldn't tell what it was. Why? I'm not sure why you would hang raw meat from your lights. It doesn't say, oh shit, excuse me. It doesn't say how long it hung there. Nobody knows why he did that, apparently, but he was known as the meat man. I have no idea. Room 305 has been documented to having an elderly woman in a rocking chair looking out the window. People have seen her rocking in her chair from the outside. Said she was just looking out the window. Guests have reported that the chair in that room will just start randomly rocking by itself at all hours of the day. No breeze, no open window, no fans, just starts rocking. They've also reported the curtain being pulled back. Now, not open, pulled back. Now, when the rocking chair rocks, the back of it taps the closet. Tap, 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 tap. That's fucking freaky to me. That is freaky to me. Now, the woman's name is not known, but old stories from the hotel say that a resident at one time was an elderly lady who would rock in her rocking chair daily and look out the window. In 1970, it said that 3 men robbed a bank near town, and during the heist, a bank guard shot at them and hit one of them from behind. The 3 men escaped, and they went to this hotel because of the cocktail lounge. They were in and they ordered drinks and they were celebrating their score. Now, while they were drinking, the wounded man was wounded worse than he thought he was. Didn't realize maybe that he was shot or something. But anyway, he fell down and basically bled to death on the floor and died. Since then, people claim to hear disembodied voices at the bar area, and one will even say good morning. The bar stools will pull out on their own, and glasses have a tendency to move from the bar. In the early 1940s, 2 female sex workers were picked up by a man, and he brought them to room 306. They thought they were being hired to keep him company by the 2 women. They were both brutally murdered and thrown from his 3rd floor window. Guests who have stayed in that room have said to hear screaming late at night, and the curtains will move on their own. Male guests have claimed that ghostly hands have been placed over their mouths or around their necks and attempted to hold them down into the bed, assuming it's the females trying to get back at the males. There are so many spirits, but these are the ones mostly showing themselves. There is also a phantom busboy and the bellboy or busboy. I don't know. Anyway, bellboy, I think it is. And the bell rings on its own when customers come in. And he's the one that Bob Hope claimed to have had greet him, or anyway, Bob Hope has claimed to have seen this bellboy before. Is that the one that we talked about maybe before? I don't know. I thought we talked about one in the past that Bob Hope said that he had an experience. I don't know. I'm thinking of maybe somebody else. I don't know. Anyway, the Orpheum Theater, and this is in Phoenix. Now, maybe this is the one. I don't remember. Anyway, the Orpheum Theater. This was built in 1929, and it was also the former vaudeville house. Maybe this is the one that we talked about. Now, the vaudeville acts, there was one on the East Coast and the West Coast. Now, the acts of the East and the West circuits came together and became, in partnership, became the Vaudeville Manager Association, also known as VMA. Like the VMA Awards? Okay. Back then, this is what started the VMA. Each show would feature 10 to 15 different acts, from acrobats to comedians to musical performances and magical shows. Harry Houdini, Gypsy Rose Lee, and Bill Bojangles Robinson were just a few to perform here. The Orpheum Theater is home to at least 4 ghosts, though the owners believe that more are lingering. The best known ghost is Maddie. She's a young girl about 12 years old, usually hangs out in the mezzanine, however you say that, though will sometimes appear elsewhere. Maddie keeps watch over the patrons and is quite friendly, though she acts mischievous towards the staff. Maddie once smacked a gentleman in the back of the head for making out with his lover on the balcony while nobody was around. She's also known to tap patrons on the shoulder or shush them when they get too loud. Her biggest appearance was during a Chinese dance show. 5 of the acrobats stopped dancing mid-performance and began to scream while pointing at the balcony, then fell back into formation and finished their routine. After the show, they were asked what happened, and all 5 said the same thing. And they all said that a young girl was at the edge of the balcony, and they thought she was going to jump. But she ended up just walking into the air and disappeared into thin air. It says the Orpheum keeps their ghosts very secret. So to hear about the other ones, you have to take a ghost tour. There is one other one that's the newest one found. It's the newest ghost found, and it was found in February of 2019. A woman wearing a period dress and a net hat over her head appeared to an employee in full apparition. Employee said she thought she was a real person and actually spoke to her, but when she got closer and the lady moved, she could see right through her. And then she disappeared. The employee was freaked out a little bit, but she's already used to ghost activity. So she was just shocked that this ghost appeared so human-like, I guess. Anyway, they said that their ghosts there are very cherished and protected. I'd go there too. I'd go there and see, and I'd want to make a lot of noise just to see if I get shushed. Number 7, this is the Jerome Grand Hotel. Did I not put I usually try to put what cities they're located in. Did I not do that? Oops. Now, anyway, this opened in 1927 as the United Verdi Hospital. This is where local miners came after suffering gruesome injuries while digging for copper. Many of them died from their wounds. This is also where the insane were brought to be cured of their mental illnesses, where they did not heal. They closed up in 1950, and it was reopened some 47 years later as a vintage hotel where many visitors have seen and heard phantom nurses, cries of distress, and they hear loud screams as if they were in pain. It's believed that over 9,000 people have died in that one building. Guests who have stayed here have reported hearing voices, and they looked out. They heard voices, and when they opened the door and looked out, they saw a gurney in the hallway rolling by itself, and then it just disappeared. Nobody was there. Activity happens throughout the entire hotel, but the third floor in particular, most of the deaths occurred in the ORs on the third floor, with the operating rooms on the third floor. That's the floor most people hear and see the gurney. They have replaced the floor with different types of carpet, but you can still hear it rolling on the floor at all hours of the morning. Also, a lot of the third floor guests report seeing a solid black cat roaming the halls. One guest said while he was laying in his bed, he felt a cat jump up on the bed and walk across him, but nothing was there. He said he felt the footsteps crawl over the top of him. Apparently, they hear that one a lot. Room number 32, its former hospital guest there, had a balcony. A man was confined to a wheelchair and reportedly climbed over or fell off. Anyway, he fell to his death off the balcony. Another man that stayed in the same room was said to have shot himself in there as well. There are a few they know about and some they don't. A caretaker committed suicide in the boiler room. Don't even tell me he jumped in the boiler, because wouldn't he just burn to death? Like, wouldn't he just be cooked? Because it doesn't say. That's all it says. And a maintenance man, Claude Harvey, was found in the basement, crushed by the elevator in 1935. He is often seen still riding the elevator and will speak to the guests. The front desk received a call from an unoccupied room, and they heard a lady say something but couldn't quite understand what she said. It hung up. They called back. There was no answer. This girl got up and went up to the room. Nobody was there. It was vacant room. In 2011, this hotel was on an episode of Ghost Adventures on the Travel Channel. That's all I got. I'd want to stay on the third floor. Who'd go? Who would go with me? I think Uncle would go. I think Missy would go. I think Tina would go too. I think Terry would go. I know Annie would go. Spirit Stalker would go too, I think. I don't know about Spirit Wolf. I don't know. She might. I don't know. I think if it was a group of us, Spirit Wolf would even go. I'd go for sure. All right, number 8, the Vulture Gold Mine in Wickenburg. Got a hair. Ghost Adventures was here in 2008, and if exploits are to be believed, they had rocks thrown at them. They captured recordings of apparitions telling them to get out and you're gonna die. The mine was in operation from 1863 to 1942 and produced over $200 million worth of gold. The mine was built when Henry Wickenburg discovered a high-grade form of gold ore in that area. Miners flocked there in hopes of getting rich. Miners often died in cave-ins, while dozens were hung from the infamous hanging tree, which I think we talked about the hanging tree too, when they were caught stealing. There were many gruesome tales of rapes, murders, and freak accidents in the mines and surrounding towns. One such story is of Jimmy Davis. He got his arm caught in a piece of machinery and was then repeatedly flung into different pieces of heavy equipment, breaking every bone in his body before he was dropped dozens of feet into a mine shaft. They said it sucked him in and it happened so fast, but it couldn't be shut down, and he was thrown around for 5 hours. 5 hours it would take him to die dealing with that. They say you can hear his voice yelling for help late at night. The miners that were hung can be seen under the hanging tree at night, still searching for the gold that they stole. Today, the mine is privately owned, but open to the public for a fee. Guided tours are also available. Tourists, ghost hunters, mediums, etc., they flock here, and even them, they see and hear them all over the place. Jimmy is the most infamous ghost here, and the sound of pickaxes hitting the walls is the most common sound you will hear here. That would be a really shitty way to die. Nobody can stop the machineries. How do people just stand around for 5 hours listening and knowing, like, I couldn't do it. Like, I would be shut down. Go to the fucking shut the whole thing down. Not just the machine. Like, just turn all the power off. What a horrible way to die. Golly. It makes my body hurt just thinking about it. Just being shoved, and every bone in his body was broken. Oh, imagine the fucking pain that man went through. That's absolutely that's just fucking shoot me and get it out of the way. You know what I mean? Anyway, I can't sit and think about that for too long. My God. My last one. This is the Hotel San Carlos, and this is in Phoenix. In May 1928, troubled Leonie Jensen threw herself from the 7th-story roof. Her tragic suicide gave this landmark its most enduring legacy and left a haunted hotel. There have been thousands of tales of a ghostly woman in white roaming the hallways. This hotel was always a historic boutique at the height of its popularity. Celebrities stayed here often. Clark Gable, Mae West, Carol Lombardi, Gene Autry, and Marilyn Monroe, among the few. It started on May 27th, 1928, just 2 weeks after the grand opening. A 22-year-old known as the Pretty Blonde jumped from the roof to her death onto the street below. She and her boyfriend, who was the bellboy there, broke up. She checked into room 720 and checked out by way of roof. She wanted him to see her so he would know she truly loved him. Since then, so many guests report seeing a woman in white. Some say they see her at the foot of their bed. Some say they see her in the elevator, the halls, the kitchen, etc. She's constantly seen. She does not speak and does not appear threatening in any way. Most have said that she's very pretty. It was only later they found out that where this hotel was built was on top of a Native American worship ground. There have been other spirits seen in the hotel, but there's no information on who they could be. One is a child that's been seen in several rooms, and she sits down and rocks back and forth. That's all I got on it. She just sits down and rocks back and forth. I'm assuming maybe it could be a Native American child. Maybe that was, I don't know. It doesn't say anything, but that's all I've got. But I'd stay there too. I'd stay there and want to see. So, Arkansas is next. And Uncle will be coming on with me when I do Arkansas. So, let's make Arkansas next Sunday, Uncle. Since that's Sunday night's good for you. So let's say Sunday night will be Arkansas Hauntings, and Wednesday, I'm either going to talk to my friend. Her name is Patty, but it's a different Patty. So I'm going to talk to her and see if she'd like to come on. And we'll talk about some law enforcement. She was a drill instructor with me, and we can have some laughs. And she is a hoot, and like I said, she loves animals as much as I do, but she works with lions and tigers and bears. Oh my, you know what I mean? And monkeys and all that. So we get to hear about that. And she's retired. So love to have her on. And then I have another friend, Robert, who was my old dispatcher. And he's not a dispatcher anymore. But I asked him if he would like to come on and talk about maybe some calls that they get in the 911 center. And we'll talk about some stupid ass calls that he has sent me on. And some stupid things that we had fun doing on the radio and stuff like that. So I'll figure out who's when, and it'll be either one of them on Wednesday. And then next Sunday will be Arkansas with our one and only uncle that we love so much. And then after Arkansas is California. We'll move into the seas, and I don't know if I know anybody in California. I'll have to look into that. Okay, so yesterday, so you guys can look it up. Mystic Jungle. It's a big I think it's a 501c3 too, but if you type in Mystic Jungle, it's like 20 minutes from me. And they have lions and tigers and panthers and all kinds of animals. And they go and they came out there yesterday, and they had some goats out there and snakes. And the one guy was walking around with a snake, and I'm like, no, you need to walk the other way. I don't do snakes. But the guy with the fucking alligator, this was a 3.5 foot alligator. Okay. And I've held little baby alligators. I've held them, and they were only the little tiny ones. You know what I mean? They were so tiny, their mouth wasn't even taped shut yet. Like you hold and you pet them, and they're like little lizards. I've held them that little. This was a big 3.5 foot alligator. His name was Fred. Or is Fred. His name is Fred. Anyway, his mouth was taped shut. In the photo, you really can't see the tape, but if you zoom in on it, you can see the tape around, just the way the sun hit it. And it didn't look like his mouth was taped, but he was so pretty. Like, I would never, you just can't have him as a fucking pet, okay? But like I said, I've only held the ones like a little lizard. So this was the biggest alligator I've ever held. And if his mouth wasn't taped shut, I would not have held him. But he was just so chill. Like I held his hand, and he put his little arm through my hand, and I was rubbing his belly underneath. I was rubbing his belly was so soft. You know how like animals, their bellies are just so soft. And I don't know. He just ended up being so cool. And I had fun. Anyway, I was like, can I hold him? So I had Darlene, y'all know Darlene, her husband was there helping her. And I was like, Nick, can you please come here and take a picture for me really quick? So it was Darlene's husband that took it for me. But I thought he was cool. Yeah, I forgot that she was in that movie, Lake Placid. That's a fucked up movie. Now, They do not have any crocodiles at Mystic Jungle. But I'm not even kidding. You guys can look up, you can go to Google and look up Mystic Jungle, and you can go and see what kind of animals they have there, and see if they show Fred the alligator. They don't have crocodiles though, because the crocodile, see, there's a difference between the croc and the alligator. And an alligator, they're just kind of chill. And if you go up and bother them, they're going to fucking hiss at you and be like, hey, I'm fucking here. If you fuck with me, I'm going to get you. Now, a crocodile, he's going to chase your ass. He's the one that's going to run after you. They will come. They're the ones that's going to jump up out of the water. The crocodiles are way more aggressive than alligators. They're all fucking scary to me. I don't do, to me, they're still dinosaurs. Like, I don't, but he was cool. What you saw, what tape? Oh, you saw the tape. Yeah. Yeah. He was a cool little alligator, and he gave the little hands, and you hold him up and he holds his little hands out like, pick me up. It was like, it's so cute. So I picked him, and then I just laid him, and he just laid right down. And he flopped his hand through my fingers, and I just reached my hand under, and I was rubbing his soft little belly, and I'm like, he's so cute. Take the picture quick though. So he was cool. I did like him. And then, of course, I had to send Missy a picture. I'm like, of all the fucking things, they could bring a baby tiger or something, and he brings a fucking alligator, and he's walking around with his alligator on his shoulders. And then 5 minutes later, I'm getting a picture with it. What the fuck? Oh, my Lord. Of course. I'm a dingbat. Anyway. He was still cool. I don't do snakes. And this guy had a huge freaking boa constrictor. Oh my Lord. And then Darlene she went over there, and she had all these different snakes wrapped around her neck. And I'm like, she can just fucking, I looked at her husband. I'm like, she needs to stay the fuck over there. Cause So you go over there and play with the damn snakes, and don't bring them back over here. I mess with Darlene so bad though. Like, I texted her today, and I said something that I was going to wait till tomorrow to go to Lowe's, and she's like, "What's tomorrow?" And I said, "Tomorrow is the day after today, and it's called Monday." And she wrote back, "I fucking can't with you." I just come up with the stupid shit, and I just bug the crap out of people. It's the day after tomorrow. It's the day after today. You asked me what tomorrow is. Anyway. Anybody have anything for me? Anything new? Any questions? Anything? And I went to my I had to mail something out the other day, and I went to the damn pack and ship place and forgot fucking Spirit Wolf's box. So it's still in there. So I am going this week to mail out her fucking box. And Darlene's like, there's stuff I want to put in there. And I said, well, it ain't in there by the time I go to mail it out. Well, I got to go to Gainesville. Well, you better hurry up and go. I was at a mall one day, and someone was walking through the mall with a snake wrapped around. Nope. People do that. They think their pets are so cool. They have these people They have spiders, centipedes, fucking scorpions as pets. And they let these fucking things walk all over their face. This one guy has spiders and they crawl into his mouth and he just lets them crawl in there. No. Oh. Well, wasn't there a movie? Wasn't there? No, that was the alligator movie that from the sewers, right? Wasn't that where the alligator was coming up out of the sewers? No. Oh yeah, yeah, the alligator. Yes, that's from the sewers. Yes. I can't think of there is I can't remember if it's Instagram or if it's TikTok that I follow this girl. I think it's like the Cayman lady and she has a pet crocodile, a Cayman crocodile, Caimon. She has a crocodile as a fucking pet. And she's laying on the couch, and here comes this fucking thing crawling right up and snuggling with her under her arm. Mm-mm. These people that have snakes and spiders, they don't, they're not. Okay. They're not going to snuggle. Like, I want a pet that's going to show me affection and snuggle with me. How do these... There's another girl. I know y'all know who I'm talking about too. And she had a pet crab named Howie. The crab would dress up she would dress this crab up in the fucking clothes that she made for them and walk this motherfucking thing on a leash. She had him for what, 6, 8 years? This thing? Now she's got another fucking crab because Howie passed away. Y'all, I ain't gonna have no crab as a pet, but I followed this girl for so long, I fucking teared up because Howie died. What the fuck? How do you... I'm ashamed to even admit it. Now she's got Winnie, a new crab that she's petting and feeding, and she's already got her a new hat. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the fucking Howie girl. And y'all find that Cayman girl. She has this fucking pet crocodile that snuggles with her on the couch. Y'all, when I say I'm an animal lover, everybody knows the passion and love that I have for animals. Everyone who knows me knows how much I love pigs. They know how much I love animals. If I see a hurt animal, I'm going to fucking help it or save it or whatever, rush it to the vet. Whatever I got to do, I'm going to help it. Okay? But if it's an insect or a snake or I'm not going to help it. I killed a big ass spider today with a shovel. And I didn't feel bad. Am I supposed to feel bad? Because I didn't. I don't do insects. Insect is not going to snuggle with you. Mm-mm. No. I'm not the only one that feels this way, correct? Or am I the only one that feels this way? Because I'm sorry if I'm offending anybody that I'll kill an insect. You know, I know there's vegans out. Okay. That's the other thing. Okay. I know vegans and I understand they don't want the animals, and I understand and I get it. I get it. Okay. I get the milk and the cheese and the dairy and all of the anything that come from animals they don't eat. And it's appreciated and I love them and it's okay to be vegan. But here's I stepped I was a police officer for 24 years and I worked the midnight shift. And I got a call one night to a burglary into someone's house and I was having to stand in the front yard and take a report. And I apparently stepped in the red fire ants. And I was getting eat the fuck up all the way up my britches. So I asked them if I could go to their restroom because I went into their restroom and took my pants off. On duty. I am beating the shit out of myself trying to get these ants off me. It hurts. I'm getting bit 100 times a second. I literally had to start the bottom part of the bathtub and get into their bathtub and rinse them off of me to get them off of me. I was in the bathroom forever because I was trying to shake my pants and my socks and my boots. And I was in there forever. I was apologizing. They felt terrible. My sergeant was dying laughing at me. I'm in there trying to get the ants. I'm getting ate up. I had hundreds and hundreds of ant bites all up and down both legs. I was a rookie, okay? Your trainers don't warn you about ant beds. You learn that the fucking hard way. Man, oh man, that was a night. Now, the point to my story was, I understand a vegan all day long, okay? But are you going to tell me that if a vegan accidentally is standing somewhere and she's in a fucking ant, he or she, it, whatever, is in a goddamn ant bed, are they not going to be beating the shit out of themselves trying to get them things off, stop biting them? What are they going to do? Their souls. Wait a minute. I can't kill them. But they can, I'll just let them bite me. How does that work? Please explain to me. Explain that to me. Because that don't make sense to me. It's a living soul, but you're going to stand there and let them bite you? If you're getting eat the hell up by those no-see-ums and some skeeters, you ain't going to smack them off you? You Explain that. I would like to see or know how a vegan would act in that situation. Has anyone ever seen a vegan act in that situation? Because if you have, please let me know and inform me of that, because I'd like to see it. Not that I'm wishing, but it's those people that will lecture and be an asshole and how dare you and how dare you and how dare you drink milk and blah. And those preaching vegans, go stand in an ant bed and I want to see what you do, because they're living souls. They're put on this earth for a reason. Am I right? It is a living thing. I want to know if they're going to kill him to get it off them. Any comments to that, anybody? Am I the only one? Maybe I should stop talking then. I mean, I'm just curious. I'll never forget. It was just last year, I think. I think, Uncle, I sent you and Missy a picture of it, I think, too. And Missy and Terry. I went outside and set the saw. I moved the saw from the ground over to the table. I'd do the same damn thing. I would do the same thing. What the hell was I just saying? No. This was like last year. No. This was like last year. Okay. Anyway, I set the saw on the table. I work outside all the damn time. I wasn't thinking anything. Well, I was only in a pair of leggings and a fucking tank top. I got stung over 20 times on my right thigh by those fucking yellow jackets. I was in so much pain. I still have a picture of my leg. Let me tell you, I was so mad. I grabbed that fucking, I did not know it was a big ass wasp nest under the table there on the corner that I set the saw down on. And the vibration of me, and I didn't even stand. I just set the saw down, and within fucking 5 seconds, bam, they all attacked my leg. I was like, oh my God, my leg was right there by the fucking nest. I had that whole fucking wasp nest sprayed with the spray, and they were all dead within a couple of minutes. That's what you get for biting me, asshole. And I'm still a year later having issues with my leg, with feeling. I have no feeling in my right fucking thigh. No, it was wasps. I'll never forget that as long as I live. Yep, I moved the saw from the ground and put it up onto the table. And my leg was right there because it was on the corner, front corner of that table. Never seen it. I work on that table every day. It was a huge wasp nest. And they got me, boy. Woo, boy. I came in the house. I was rolling on the floor. I was fucking screaming. My whole right leg was just burning. And oh my God, I felt like my right leg was going to explode. It hurt so bad. I was screaming, and my mom come running out of the room like, what the hell's going on? What happened? So I told her I got stung. And I had 25 fucking stings on my leg. Oh, let me tell you, they didn't live long after that. Mm-mm. Am I the only one that would do that? Or would y'all go and do that? Y'all want to sting me? This is what you're gonna have. This is what's gonna happen to you now. Bye. Mm-mm. I didn't like that at all. So, anyway, that's enough talk on that. I hate talking about bugs. Anywho, tomorrow I'm going to get back out there. I have to go to Lowe's and pick up some things, but I'm putting blue and orange. I'm going to add blue and orange to the colors. There you go. No, thank God. See, I was scared because I had been stung by a different type of wasp, but only one. You know what I mean? This was so many. Like I went and I took 2 Benadryls right then, like just to get it into my system in case, because that was so many stings. I didn't want it to send me into shock or being allergic or anything. I wanted that Benadryl already in my system. Nothing ever came from it. I didn't get ill, but my leg hurt and now I've lost feeling in parts of my right thigh, in the middle of all of where they got me. It's in the middle part that I don't have feeling there on my right thigh. And it's been like that since that. Yes. Oh, it was so bad. And I don't know if my mom's watching, but she can tell you how loud I was screaming. And listen, I'm one that can handle pain. Okay. My shoulder's still fucked up. I can handle pain. I'm out there working with pain constantly. I don't really complain much. My back will hurt, my shoulder will hurt, but I'm still out there fucking doing what I got to do. I nothing really drops me like that. But damn, I was screaming at the top of my lungs that day when all them things fucking hit me. Oh my God. Mm. If I didn't send y'all the picture of my leg, Terry, Missy, Uncle, let me know and I'll send it to you because I still have it. I'll show it to you. That night I took a bath and I took a picture of my right leg with all the stings in it. You can fucking see everywhere they hit me. I was having to go to everyone and make sure there was no stinger left in me. Anyway, let's not talk about it anymore. I'm over it. They're dead. Let me tell you, if I see something flying, boy, I spray that whole area. I don't want no wasps around. I don't do wasps. No, 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 no. But anyway, I'm going to get off here. So Wednesday, I'll figure out who's coming. Next Sunday, plan on Uncle being my guest for some Arkansas hauntings. And we'll have some good ones for you. And I will be seeing you guys soon. And okay. And then thank God I'd have been in the hospital. I would have been in the hospital if I was allergic or dead, whichever. Like that's I hope that I'm always looking under tables now. I always have bug spray near and I'm always looking under tables now. I've got to keep my eyes open for in the barn as well. In the new barn, because I ain't having them around the babies. Oh, God. Anyway, I'm sure I'll be talking to Missy and Uncle and Terry, all of you guys soon. And I love you. I'll be live on Clapper for a little while if you guys want to join us over there. I'm not sure if Tina's still over here or not. So, but thank you guys for joining the podcast this evening, and I'll see you next time.